Might be one of his coolest fills, and you might have never heard it. Impossible, but you're going to hear it now because you're watching me. That's it. Very cool. You know it? Probably not. But you will. Stick around. Okay, so we talk about a lot of drummers. We just did a Simon Phillips thing a little ways back. We do Vinny stuff, Weckl stuff, Bonham stuff, Pert stuff, Picaro. We do it all. We touch on songs you don't know. Spyro Gyra, David Benoit. We just did a great thing. I like all kinds of music, as you can probably tell. I'm not a straight rock guy. I'm not a straight jazz guy. I'm kind of, in the true sense, a fusion guy in that I enjoy everything sort of fused together. I think I even did a video on Anita Baker intro to some song, which is a great song, by the way. I forget the name of it. But great drum. Harvey Mason, I think, playing on those. Anyway, I never wanted to be sort of like one-dimensional in styles, I guess. That was never a goal of mine. So anyway, this is why I have such sort of a mixture of different songs on here. And styles and musicians. However, this particular song does fall into the rock category, but probably you haven't heard it. So one of my favorite drummers, I've done a couple things on him, I think, is Steve Smith. Of course, drummer from Journey, but that's just a small part, but that's how most people know him, Journey. Of course, he played with Jean-Luc Ponty, and he played with Steps Ahead, and he played with his own band, Vital Information, for so many years. And so many cool ideas and things come from Steve Smith. But people that kind of stick more in the rock realm, don't know much of his Vital Information, and that's fine. They might not know some of his Ponty stuff. They might not know some of the Steps Ahead stuff, whatever. This is in the rock community, in the rock genre. This is kind of like a Joe Satriani kind of player, and he's really one of my favorite guitar players in that genre. His name is Neil Zaza, and now maybe you don't know who he is, but he kind of falls in that instrumental rock kind of category again, like a Steve Vai or a Satriani, Eric Johnson, that kind of a thing. He's just not as well known. Well, back probably in the 80s, late 80s, I would say. He was out there doing his thing, and he had a CD out that I had. I think it's called Staring at the Sun or Something at the Sun, I want to say. There's a song on it called I Spy. One of my old bands, Double Forte, played one of his songs. Not I Spy, but one of his songs. So I knew that album really well, listened to it a lot, and found out that Steve Smith was the drummer. Well, I knew there had to be somebody on there that was just not your average guy, because the drums are really good. And then, sure enough, you look it up and, you find out it's Steve Smith. Okay, makes sense. And there's this intro to this song called I Spy. I just played it. It's this 30-second note flurry, right? And it's a great, cool, big, brash rock intro. It's just 30-second notes. It's at about 90 beats a minute. And 30-second notes at 90 beats a minute is pretty fast for me. Not for Dennis Chambers, not for a lot of people, but it's fast for me. So anyway, this is it. I'm going to show you how to play it. It's straight 30 seconds. There's one key element, I think, to it, is where the accent is sort of on the snare, okay? And it's on, you'll see the transcription. You don't necessarily need to read the transcription. You can kind of feel your way through it. But it's on the 4/32 note as we move down the measure, okay? So it kind of has this feel to it where it's these fours moving forward. For the first two beats. The second two beats, I think it's more random, more improv. I go away from that formula of sort of that accent scheme, and you'll hear it. And then I just sort of improv. I don't know exactly what he does. This is not a video that's telling you exactly what he plays. This is a video, again, showing you to capture the the feel of what he does in these 30-second notes. But the accent is the important thing. So he plays this fill, one measure, right? Now 30-second notes, for those who don't know, I have a video on that too, you can look at. 30-second notes, you can think of them as like doubling your 16th notes, right? 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and you can do it that way. Or you can make your right hand count all the 1 E andas and your left hand plays that other 30-second. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. So it's doubling, right? Okay. So that's the feel. This is a tempo. It's kind of a weird song, and they do this really cool thing with the time in the song where they sort of switch it up, which is very cool too. Maybe another video. But this is the intro, okay? And it's basically something like that. The first part is the main part. It's the 30-second on the fourth, or the 30-second on the E's. You're not really counting it. It's 1 E, 1 E, 1 E, 1 E. That's where the accent falls. 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and so on. Okay? So that's what you want to capture. You want to get that accent. That's the important part. Okay? And then after beat 1 and 2, at beat 3, you can sort of improv it, double strokes, do whatever you want. But that's where he starts. I gotta sneeze. That'll probably be cut out. Okay. So, keep that in mind. That's all we're trying to do here. And then he goes into this 8th note, very basic groove, but it is at about 90 beats a minute, so it's slow. But again, 30-second note, so you got to squeeze all this in. But it has kind of a strange feel. So I'm going to try to play it again to give you an idea, and then we'll play it with the metronome, and we'll wrap it up, and you will learn a cool Steve Smith intro fill. You can do this. Do this when you're playing at the Beacon Tap this weekend. And you want to do a flashy fill to start a song. This might be one you pick out, but the song's got to be fairly slow at 90 beats a minute or right around there. So again, if the tempo, I'm going to put the click on here. If this is the tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the fill starts 2, 3, 4. The fill's going to start like this. And then he goes into the groove, which sounds pretty slow, right? So here's the fill again. Okay. So that's it. That's the fill. You gotta it's just. You can work on it just on the snare drum. It's that accent on the 4th 30-second. I think he ends it on 4, the fill in the song. That's the feel, but it's faster, right? That's what you're trying to get, but it's the that's the key. I'm going to play it, and you're going to kind of hear it, and then we're going to say bye-bye for another lesson. So I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to be ready to rock. Okay, we're back. We're going to play this song. And it's the intro, and then it's going to go into this very simple groove. So hopefully you can kind of pick this up and hear sort of the accent points, and we'll kind of take it from there. So here we go. This is a song called I Spy by Neil Zaza. Steve Smith plays the intro on the drums. Here we go. Pay attention to that accent point. That's the main thing. It's fast. going to do that again. Kind of started late. One more time. Okay, so that's the idea. That's not the idea. This is the idea. You got to get that. Okay, that's the idea. So you got to get that kind of feel. He does end it on 4, if you listen on that, but you can end it on 1, whatever you want. There it is. A little Neil Zaza, a little I Spy, a little Steve Smith. A very cool, capture the feel. It's not exactly orchestrated the way he does it. Again, probably had more drums than this back in the Journey days. He certainly did. So he might be playing. It would be nice to have more sound sources to come off of that and have another one so you can hear other toms, other tonal changes. But I don't have that. And if you do, that's cool. Just keep doing that. And then, you probably get that same sound. But anyway. Okay. All right. There it is. I Spy, Steve Smith. You got to kind of work on those 30-second notes to get that down to probably where it's going to sound like that. But it's a cool accent point. That's what I like about it. It's where he puts that accent. Anyway, practice. Yeah. Fourth 30-second note. That's basically where he puts this throughout the first 2 beats. So keep that in mind when you're playing it. Take a listen to the whole CD. Great CD, by the way. Neil Zaza, good player. I'm All Right is kind of a poppy, probably one of his more popular songs. That's a really good one. Really like that one. And that whole album is really good. What's it called? I forget the name of the album. It is called Staring at the Sun. So really good album by Neil Zaza. Check it out. Great guitar player. Great tone. Go into your band practice and say, hey, I got an intro fill for that song we've been playing, and bring that baby to the table. You'll either get thrown out of the band or you get an applause. I'm not sure which one. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and then let me know if you're still in the band after you play that fill, the intro. We'll see you next time.